Welcome back to Daily English Motivation. Today's story will remind you that success doesn't always need strengths sometimes. It just needs one more step. Let's dive into the powerful journey of a boy who refused to quit. Evan was a quiet boy who lived in a small town surrounded by green mountains. He wasn't the fastest, strongest, or smartest student in school, and he knew it. Whenever there was a competition, he usually stayed in the shadows, watching other kids shine. His teachers often said, "Evan, you're good, but you don't try hard enough." He always smiled politely, even though those words hurt him inside. Evan had one dream: to join the school's long-distance running team. Every year, he watched the runners train on the dusty track behind the school. They looked so strong, focused, and determined. Evan wished he could be like them, but there was a problem. Every time he tried running, he felt tired way too quickly. His breath shortened, his legs felt heavy, and his heart pounded loudly in his chest. He always stopped halfway. The other kids would sometimes laugh, saying, "Evan quits again." And that became his reputation, the boy who always gave up. But one day, something changed. One cool morning, Evan decided to try again. He walked to the track alone, wearing old shoes and carrying a bottle of water. He stared at the red lanes and whispered to himself, "Maybe today I'll finish one full lap." He took a deep breath and started running. At first, he felt good. The sun was warm, the air was fresh, and he felt light on his feet. But after just a minute, the familiar pain returned. His chest tightened and sweat dripped down his forehead. "I should stop," he thought. He slowed down, but then he heard a voice behind him. "You stopped too early." Evan turned around. It was Mr. Hall, the retired running coach who lived near the school. Everyone knew him because he had trained many great athletes in the past. Evan felt embarrassed. "I'm not good at running, sir." Mr. Hall smiled. "Nobody is good at something they quit." Evan looked down at his shoes. The coach walked closer and said, "Listen, Evan. Most people fail not because they are weak, but because they stop one step before success." Evan listened, confused. Mr. Hall raised one finger. "One more step. That's all it takes." Every time your body says stop, give me one more step. Not a lap, not a mile, just one more step. Evan didn't fully understand, but he nodded. The next day, Evan returned to the track. He began running again. As expected, the pain came back. His breathing became shaky. His mind screamed, "Stop, stop now." But then he remembered just one more step. He forced himself to take one more step, then another. Surprisingly, he continued for longer than usual. When he finally stopped, he looked back in shock. He had run farther than he ever had before. "Maybe Coach Hall was right," he whispered. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't pretty. But something inside Evan changed that day. He realized he didn't need to be perfect. He only needed to try again. Little by little, Evan improved. Each day, he added one more step. Some days he ran well. Some days he could barely move. Some days he wanted to quit again. But every time he felt weak, he whispered to himself, "Evan, just one more step." He wrote the phrase on his notebook, on the wall near his bed, and even on his water bottle. It became his personal rule: never stop without giving one more step. People noticed the change in him. His teachers saw he was more confident. His parents saw he woke up early every morning. His classmates, who once laughed at him, now watched him quietly as he ran every afternoon. And the best part, Evan started believing in himself. Finally, the school announced tryouts for the long-distance team. Evan's heart pounded when he heard the news. He wanted to join, but fear still lived inside him. "What if I fail again?" he thought. But then he heard Coach Hall's voice in his memory. Most people fail because they stop one step before success. Evan tightened his fists. "I'll go," he decided. On the day of tryouts, the track was filled with students strong, confident, athletic. Evan felt small again. Some whispered he'll never make it. Evan felt nervous, but he took his place at the starting line. The whistle blew, the runners sprinted forward. Evan tried to stay calm and steady. After the first 2 laps, he was already exhausted. His legs burned, and his chest hurt. "Stop," his mind begged. But his heart said something different. One more step. He pushed forward. One more step. One more step. One more step. When he reached the final lap, he was almost last. But he didn't care. His only goal was to finish. And he did. He crossed the finish line and collapsed on the ground, breathing hard, but smiling. For the first time in his life, Evan had finished the entire distance. Coach Hall walked toward him and said, "You didn't quit today. That makes you a runner." Evan felt tears fill his eyes. The next day, the results were posted on the school wall. Students crowded around cheerfully. Evan approached slowly, nervous, shaking. He searched the list, and there it was, Evan Carter selected. He stared at his name for a long moment, unable to believe it. Then he laughed, not because he was the best runner, but because he had done the one thing he never thought he could do. He didn't give up. Evan became known in school not as the boy who quits, but as the boy who keeps going. His story spread among students who felt weak, tired, or discouraged. And whenever someone asked him, "How did you do it?" he always answered with a smile, "I didn't do something big. I just took one more step." The moral of this story is that success is not always about speed, talent, or perfection. Sometimes the greatest power is the ability to continue just a little more when everything inside you wants to stop. That is how dreams are built, one small step at a time. Remember, your life can change with just one more step. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more daily motivation. See you in the next story. Keep moving forward.